You know, I seems like the older I get, the more I think about things. Uh, I was watching this channel, and I still watch it a lot. Actually, there's two of them. It's a family. One of them is called Celebrating Alachua. The other one is called the Presley Girls. The Presley Girls is the daughter of the Celebrating Alachua, and I don't even know the mama's first name. But she puts me to thinking about things. They're from Murphy, North Carolina. That's just down the road from Nantahala, North Carolina, where I call home. She was talking today about how the mountain folks used to take care of everything themselves, their doctoring and they're making things to get by with and stuff. And it made me think one time that my mother-in-law, I call him Ma, and Daddy, that's my daddy-in-law, they was up on the mountain to one side there, cutting firewood with a chainsaw. And uh, somehow or another, she fell or something, and she got her hand caught up in that chainsaw and it running. Oh man, that hurts just to think about it. And I remember coming down the mountain. She had something white sheet or something wrapped around her hand, and I saw that, and it was cut to the bone. Oh man! Now, Ma, she'd never been to the doctor in her life. Never been to the doctor in her life, and she had seven kids. Was it 8 kids? Let's see. I got to think, man. It was Gay, Reba, Kirk, Nick, and after Nick, it was Chloe, then Sue, Steve, and Annie. My gosh, that was 8 kids. Gay's still living. Nick is still living. Uh, Annie's still living. Steve's dead. Turk's dead. Chloe's dead. But but she'd never been to the doctor in her life. Had all 8 of them kids at home. Uh, and when she fell into that chainsaw, that just hurts me thinking about it. She never went to the doctor for that. Wrapped that thing up and put something on there that some kind of medicine that she made up for herself. And Lord, that hurts me just thinking about it. And that thing healed up really nice. I don't think she even had a scar left from it, but it was cut to the bone. And them folks up there, they made do with what they had. Now it's pretty populated up there now, and they got all the got the banks with ATMs, and they got ATMs in stores, and they got a Walmart and all that stuff. That's in 1963 when I first time I ever went up there. They didn't have all that stuff. If you wanted Kentucky Fried Chicken, you'd have to drive 100 miles. If you want, just there was no Family Dollars and Dollar Generals or any of that stuff. And on Saturday, everything closed at 12 o'clock. There was nothing opened on Sunday. And I remember there was times that my wife run out of a medication, and we realized it Saturday afternoon. But everybody knows everybody. And the drugstore in the little town close by there was called Birch's. And we knew him. You know, we knew where he lived and everything. And we didn't think nothing about dropping by there on a Sunday afternoon and getting him to go in there and fill out prescription for. I can imagine what would happen now if you went and asked somebody at a drugstore would they open up and fill your prescription. But on several occasions we done that. And there was occasions that I had something happen to the car and I needed a part. And it'd be like Sunday or Saturday afternoon. Well, I knew the guy that run that. It was called Slacks Auto Parts. And I went over to his house. His name was Ronnie Adams. I went over to his house. Ronnie, I need this part real bad. And he'd go in there, open up his store, and get the part for me. That's how it was up there. That's how it was. Ain't like that anymore. Not like that anymore. And I fell in love with that place. Uh, and I got a lot of good memories from there. One year, and this is unheard of up there, a tornado touched down close, close to the house, you know. And you could see a path going up the side of the mountain where that thing tore up some trees and everything. And my daddy-in-law, and I called him Daddy, uh, he decided he decided that he was going to make a shelter, a storm shelter in the ground. Well, now the house sit between two mountains. We was down in the holler, and so we had the bank on one side about 200 feet from the house, and the bank on the other side. Well, the other side, one side had a creek running through it. The other side didn't. Uh, so Daddy went up the side of that mountain there about 100 feet from the house, and he started digging into that bank of that mountain, digging him a hole. and as he got dug in there pretty far, you know, and everything was looking good, and he was going to make a rock front on the front of it. And guess what? Water, a spring sprung up in there, and water started running out of that thing. I mean, it wasn't swift water, but it was water coming out of that mountain, you know. And he finally made something, I guess you call it a root cellar. They you store canned food stuff in there to keep it cool and everything. Uh, that was my daddy. And he was a fisherman. And he was a trout fisherman. He dry fly fished, you know. He fly fished and didn't use live bait. And the limit was 10. Well, I guess I can tell this now. He's long ago passed away. Bless his heart. when he hit, when he hit, I don't know if he was 62 or 65 when he filed for Social Security. And bless his heart, he got one stinking check and died a few days later. He only got to draw one check from Social Security. Only got to draw one check. But he sure liked to fish that river, Nantahala River. He taught me how to fish Nantahala River and dry fly fishing, you know, and everything, and I loved it. I loved it. The reason I got my jacket on is because um, it's cool in here, and winter's coming on. Winter's coming on. Seems like it's starting earlier. I don't know. I hope. Whew, I just got a chill. But things up there in the mountains, it was so different, so nice, so innocent, so peaceable. Um, I just, I wish I could go home just one more time. Just one more. I don't expect it would ever happen. If it ever happened, it would have to be because I come into a windfall of money. Because if I went back up there, I can't drive it. Even if I had a license and stuff, I couldn't drive it. I don't think I could stay awake. Uh, it's 550 miles from where we're at right here. And used to, when I was driving that trip, it'd take me about 8 to 9 hours. If you never made that trip before, it'd probably take you 10 or 11 hours. But I knew it by heart. Uh, wow. But yeah, if I could go again, it would I would have to have a driver. Uh, and it'd be a good idea to have a nurse. And it'd be a good idea to do it in a motor home. Uh, because of my peeing problem. You never know when I got to pee. When I got to go, I got to go. Uh, wow. I just wish I could go one more time. And the last time I went, what was that in front of my screen? I don't know. The last time I went was in 2007. That's the year my wife passed away. And I went up there then. I drove up alone because she was already up there. She'd spent about a month with her sister. And I had to go up there and get her when she was ready to come back home. Uh, that was the last time. I never thought that'd be the last time I was up there. And I think about I don't want to keep this thing too long. So let me see what the minutes say. Why is that doing that? It's counting seconds, but I don't see the time. I know I've talked more than 40 seconds. Um, but the last time I went up there, uh, I just get to thinking about it. And it was kind of August or September. And there's a bunch of people that raise tomatoes up there, big fields of tomatoes for the packing house that's over in town. And you could go to them fields, and when they pick, they don't pick the right ones. They have to have the one that just has a tinge of color on it. And the right ones they leave on the vine, and they go bad unless somebody comes by and wants to buy a box full of them, and it's cheap. You could get like a full box of tomatoes uh, for $5, something like that. It was cheap, and we got a couple of boxes of tomatoes. Went down on the river and took some pictures. Uh, and when we, and this was after Ma had already passed away a couple of years before that. So there's nobody up there living at the house but Gay, and she's the oldest child, and she worked. She did. She wasn't a nurse, but she might. But she had some kind of experience. She'd go to these houses with old people up there in the mountains, doing things for them and helping them and stuff. She got paid to do it, and that's what she was doing. But she was living up there alone at that time, and it wasn't long after that she got married. She remarried. Her husband was Royce, and that was her second husband. And Royce, up there in the house, that house, he did the same thing. He went and took care of somebody at their house, and when he got off that work that day, he come in there and sit down in a recliner, and he died. As far as I know, there's been 3 people died in that house. Ma died in that house. Daddy died in that house. Royce died in that house. And now there's nobody living there. Gay remarried. She's living over in Andrews in town. Uh, but no, I got lots of memories from up there. Lots. Christmas time, there was about, counting me and my kids and Reba's kids was there. Uh, Donna and her kids. There was probably 10 or 15 people in that house. There was only 4 bedrooms. Uh, but that was on Christmas, and I mean it was a lot of noise and toys making noises and all that stuff, and at the time it was annoying as all get out, but now it's sweet memories. And the guys, me and Turk and Steve and Nig, we'd go out there from one side of the house and look up the side of that mountain. There was a big old tree way up on that mountain, and there was always, always a bird of some kind sitting in that tree. I didn't shoot at the bird, but they shot at the bird. They never hit it. It was way up there. Or they'd be shooting at limbs, and then they'd have some of them have a new rifle or something, new gun. Uh, Sweet memories. The only real family I ever had. I'm close to my brother George. Hardly ever get to talk to him. He's done got real old. I don't know if he's worse off than I am or what, but but we have a hard time talking on the telephone and stuff. He lives in Virginia. Um, wow. Um, I don't know. What, that thing don't make no sense. What is it doing? Is that all I've been talking? 6 minutes and 48 inches. Anyhow, um, I kind of got a. I have to fess up a little bit. I don't know if I should or shouldn't. I may lose a subscriber or two. I don't know. But I think about when my son passed away. That's the first death I had to contend with up close and personal. But when he died, I went through a spell there that my house was on an acre of land, so it's a pretty big yard. And I'd be walking around out there right after he died, and it just seemed like it was so small. It just seemed like things was just closing in on me. I don't know what it was, but I couldn't, and I was thinking, you know, all this education and stuff he was getting all for nothing. Is this? I don't know. I was just thinking, what's the use? What's the purpose? Um, and people would say, to try to comfort. You'll see him again, Russell, and all that stuff. And that's what a lot of people say. I'll see you on the other side and everything. Well, I was raised. I was raised a Christian, and I still love the old hymns and music and stuff. But now I have doubts. They say, "Do you believe there's a God?" Well, you know what? Normally I'll say yeah. But deep inside, I got doubts. And it would just, if my Aunt Mamie could hear me say that, it would just crush her. Oh. But here's the thing. I can go to church every Sunday. I can testify, they used to call it. I can talk all that talk. But if why do that when I got these doubts? And they say God knows everything, you know. He knows your thoughts and all that stuff. Well, if he knows my thoughts, there's no need of me doing that because he knows I'm possibly not a believer. And I'd say 99% of my family, my, on my Pearson side, I don't know about the Holt side so much. If my granddaddy Holt ever went to church, I don't know it. And if my grandmother Holt went to church, I don't know it, and was a religious person. But on my Pearson side, my grandma Pearson, granddaddy Pearson, very religious. They were Seventh Day Adventists. My Aunt Dora, she married a Methodist minister, so they were Methodists. And I got some not close relatives that are Jehovah's Witness. Aunt Ann was Seventh Day Adventist. Me, I was whatever the religion was of the people I was currently staying with. And I stayed with a lot of different aunts and uncles. So I've been a Seventh Day Adventist, I've been a Methodist, I've been a Baptist. I even thought I was a Catholic one time. So I I don't preach religion because I'm not sure about it. I don't know if there is or if there isn't a God, and I'm kind of stuck in a hard place. And if y'all truly believe in God and religious and everything, what you ought, instead of cursing me and thinking bad of me, you ought to be, if you're doing what you're supposed to do, you be praying for me. But I honestly don't believe it. I hate being in this spot. I really do. But I mean, when right after I first got married, about a year after I first got married, we was going to Briartown Baptist Church. And, you know, at the end of the sermon, the pastor wants you to come up and be saved and all that stuff. And I did that. Back then, I didn't have doubts. Uh, but I was even a youth. I don't know what I was. I was taking care of a group of teenage kids. I was about 24. Uh, I in Briartown Baptist Church, and back then the only heat in that church. Now this is up in the mountains, and it got cold. The only heat in that church was a big old pot-bellied heater that sit up there next to the pulpit. And Sunday morning, on winter time, on Sunday mornings, it's always somebody's job to get up there about 6 or 7 o'clock in the morning and get a fire going in that church. Uh, it was an old white church building, old, didn't even have a steeple. and now it's all brick and got stained glass windows in it and all that stuff. The only windows in the back when I first started going there were just big old clear windows. And in the summertime, you didn't have air conditioning. In the summertime, you'd have to raise them windows up. I wonder if I can find a picture of that church. I've got a picture of that church. If I can find it, I'll put it in here. But I had some good times there. I had some good times there, and there were some famous gospel quartets that used to come in there every once in a while. They'd have a singing and stuff, and it was free. You didn't have to pay, and the Inspirations come over there a lot. They were from Bryson City, uh, but they came a lot, and I can't remember the name of that other one. Was it the Statesman's or it? We're talking back in the '60s now. But I sure miss that. I want to go home so bad. Just for a visit. I'm too old to try and relocate now, and I can't afford it anyway. Uh, but just a lot of things goes through my head anymore. Uh, and the only person, there's nobody in Nantahala now, no relatives. The house and the piece of land that's just sitting there, and nobody's decided they won't do anything with it. Uh, they can't agree on nothing. When Ma died, that just the family just kind of that was the glue, and now it's just sitting there. It's probably falling down. I hadn't been there since 2007. Uh, uh, I don't know why the family what happened to the family. They just felt nobody wanted the other one to have the house place or any of that stuff like that. I don't understand it. My oldest sister-in-law is still living. That's gay, and my youngest sister-in-law Annie still living. And guess what? They can't stand each other. They can't stand each other. And that's what I don't understand sometimes when you're a Christian and you say, I'm a Christian and I believe in the Lord and all that stuff, but yet they'll sit there and bicker and talk back and forth about each other. That's not Christian. I got one brother-in-law that's still living there. Uh, he's been paying taxes on the place. He don't own it. He thinks he owns it. He says, I pay taxes for so long a time. It. He said who owns it is all out the window. That's what he said. I own it. I've been paying. Well, he's not paid all the taxes, and he paid taxes on it too. It's not much, $200 or $300 a year, and he thinks he owns it. Well, he don't own it. When they finally decide to do something with it. There's kids involved now. Jennifer owns part of it. Uh, John Latta owns part of it. Stacy Latta owns part of it. Um, Chris Shields owns part of it. Donna owns part of it. Lisa and owns part of it. Laura's dead. So you got all these kids in the mix now. I'll never see what becomes of it, but they're gonna have a heck of a time getting that stuff straightened out. They really are. But I wished I believed 100% that I'll see my wife and my son again. I might, I might not. I might, just like one of my subscribers that died. Somebody made the comment the other day, well, Russell, you never got to meet her, but you'll get to meet her on the other side. I might, I don't know. And to me, and I had cousins that, I mean, they were 100% sure about God. And I never said I didn't believe or I wasn't sure. I never said that to them. I just always shook my head, in concurrence with that. Because I had my that one aunt, well, my grandma Pearson, she was a staunch Seventh Day Adventist. And I got more than one switching from her when I was doing something I wasn't supposed to be doing, especially on Saturday. That's the Sabbath to them. And you didn't get to play, you didn't get to do any of that stuff. You couldn't even fix a meal. Your meals had to be fixed the day before. You could eat it on Saturday, but you couldn't fix it. Uh, so it'd break my grandma's heart. It would break Aunt Mamie's heart. Aunt Dora, all of them. The Pearson side of my family, they were all very, very religious. Mainly Baptist, Seventh Day Adventists, and Methodists. Uh, I think Barbara was her parents. That was Aunt Dora and Uncle Glenn. Uncle Glenn was a Methodist minister, and I think Barbara's. I'm not sure what she is, but when she's talking to you about something, she'll get in the huddle there and start praying with you and laying hands on you and stuff like that. So I'm not sure what she is. But Barbara's about 2 years older than me, and I had a crush on Barbara. Yes, I did. Uh, a while back, maybe 3 or 4 years ago, I was in contact with her, and I said, you was a hottie when you was 16 years old. I remember that. She got a chuckle out. She said, I didn't know you had a crush on me. I had a crush on you big time. Especially when she was 16. She went to college and everything. All them kids went to college. TG was the superintendent of the school system, I think, in Guilford County. John was a dentist. I don't know. And Barbara was a teacher. Ruth was a teacher. TG was a teacher. But he become a superintendent of the school system for that county. And they're all dead now except Barbara. But yeah, I wish I could sit here and say 100% I believe, but I don't know. I wish I could make that public. Well, I guess I have made it public somewhat. I, I see things, that people are so intelligent now. I mean, really intelligent. But yet, we can actually have wars to kill other people. I mean, to shoot them, to kill them. I don't understand that. I don't. I really started thinking about that when I was in the military and I went to Germany, and I become friends with my girlfriend's dad. And he was a veteran of World War II. He was a German soldier. He had a leg. He lost a leg in that war. He got shot off with a bunch of 50 caliber gun. But there he was, a man trying to kill us and us trying to kill him. And I think I think the politicians that's in charge of everything on both sides is to blame for most of that. And I think about the atrocities and everything that the Germans did, the atrocities that the Japanese did, and also the atrocities that the Americans did. It happened on all sides. How can the people do that to each other? Uh, I don't know. But anyway, I think I've said what I intended to say. I'm behind a rock and a hard place, folks. Uh, I know I'm gonna hear a lot of talk here about this, but I just decided to come clean about it. My daughter is a believer. She doesn't practice it, so to speak, but she knows I'm not so much. She knows I've got doubts, and I feel bad because like I should be teaching Jaden that stuff, not how I play, but how. So that don't affect just me. It affects my babies. You know. Um, Anyhow, that's my story, folks. and I hate to say I'm sticking to it. Sipping on coffee, and it's 12:30 a.m. But what is that on my face? Have I scratched my? I keep scratching myself. Yes, I do. Uh, that's my story, folks. And for right now, I'm sticking to it. But I don't expect I'll ever get to go home again. I'll be 81 in March. I'll be 82 in March. Wish we'd have never left up there. I never thought I'd put roots down in Florida. I don't like Florida. I love the mountains. I think about up there at the house, the home place, on the kitchen side of the house, up towards the bank going up the mountain. There's a kind of a little hole there against the side of the bank there, and it's a spring. And there's a pipe goes under, they bury a pipe under the ground coming from the spring. It goes down about 20 feet from the side of the kitchen side of the house. And that pipe's coming out there and it's running water. So it's a little bitty stream going on down the cove, the spring there. There's a spring up above the house about 1,000 feet. That's one they get the water from. They got a spring house made there and all that stuff, and it's in a pipe coming all the way down to the house, so we got running water in the house. And then right down the driveway, there's another spring. It's called the Betty Spring or the Big Spring. And there's a tree right there that me and my wife carved our initials in 1963. I don't know if the tree's still standing or not, but that's been a while. So there's 3 springs on that place. And if you want to count that one, that's where Daddy dig that hole to make a storm shelter, there's the water coming out of that. Memories. I don't know if memories is a good thing or a bad thing. I guess it's a good thing. All right, folks, that's the story. I gotta stick to it, I guess. See you in the next one. See you. In the broadcast.